Are we ready?
Elliot, are you ready?
Are you set? Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Fairmont Area School Board meeting. For roll call, all members are present with the exception of Mike Edmond, who should be here shortly. Please join me for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have the minutes before you.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 26th, 25 minutes.
Thank you. We have a motion by Jen, second by Mari to approve the minutes from the August 26th, 2025 school board meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. For the agenda, we have a green agenda before you, and I just want to note that our new business may be moved to following the personnel section if some of our presenters, they're on their way but are not here yet. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve as offered.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion by Dan, second by Mari. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are moving on to celebrations and school community reports. First, we have School Board Member Appreciation Month.
Yeah, so a year ago, the Minnesota School Board Association adjusted the time frame for recognition of the great work that all school boards do across the state to the month of September. So tonight I'll be reading a proclamation from the Minnesota School Boards Association highlighting School Board Appreciation Month, and then at our next September meeting we will have representatives from our local teachers union, Education Minnesota Fairmont, will be here to acknowledge School Board Appreciation Month as well. So with that, I will continue. Whereas Fairmont Area Schools recognizes the importance of public education in our community, and whereas Fairmont Area Schools appreciates the vital role played by those individuals who, as local school board members, establish policies to ensure an efficient, effective school system, and whereas school board members serve as a voice that enables our community to preserve local management and control of our public schools, and whereas school board members are charged with representing our local education interests to state and federal governments and ensuring compliance with state and federal laws, and whereas school board members selflessly devote their knowledge, time, and talents as advocates for our school children. Whereas local school board members are strong advocates for public education and responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now therefore be it resolved that Fairmont Area Schools recognizes and salutes the members of the Fairmont Area School Board by proclaiming September 2025 as School Board Recognition Month. I do have acknowledgement certificates that are signed by President and Executive Director of the Minnesota School Board Association, as well as myself, as just a honorary symbol of the great work that you do as a school board. And I have the privilege of working with all of you in a lot of different capacities, community organizations adjacent to our school, as well as primarily the school, and having a positive working relationship as we do is an asset to our school district, as each of you are with your own skills and talents. So thank you for signing up for this responsibility for the best interests of our kids, our staff, our school district as a whole, and ultimately the communities that we serve. So thank you.
As I hope this is okay, but as school board chair, I want to thank all of you for your dedication and commitment, for the research you do, for the input you provide, especially in our committee meetings. It's good to know and good to work with people that, even though we may not agree on everything, that we work well together. And I rely on all of your feedback and the communication that you provide. So thank you very much for your willingness to serve. I appreciate it immensely. Thanks. All right, we also now have a presentation from Tyler Garrison for our school projects update.
Thanks for having me tonight, and I also want to thank you guys as a school board for always giving me the resources I need to work through the school facilities and the problems we come across and the updates that we do. So I appreciate you always giving me what I need, and I know sometimes there's a large cost to that, but just know that I am very mindful at what I spend and try to do the best at what I can get for costs. So there's a couple of you that probably don't know who I am. I am the Director of Buildings and Grounds here at Fairmont. I've been in the district 31 years, and I've worked 8 years in the director role. So it's a roller coaster with not knowing what each day is going to bring, but it can be very rewarding to see what we can accomplish in these buildings. I did give you a list tonight just of our bigger projects. I know a while back when I first started this position, I used to give you like a 4-page list of items, and I'd include a lot of smaller projects. These are just some of the bigger projects, and this year with LTFM we did a lot of smaller projects instead of a bigger project, so we have more of them. And also this is not all LTFM. And I'll just quickly go through the list and then I'll take questions later. Starting at the high school, so all the high school are listed on that first bunch, and we replaced 2 large areas of flooring on the hallways at the high school, the main entrance hallway, and then the upstairs above that in the science hallway. We did a lot of painting at the high school this year. We have been doing lots at the elementary. Now we've kind of pushed over the high school. I don't know if we'll ever see a day we'll get caught up with painting, but we try each summer to get as much as done as we can. Main hallways on the first and second floors of vocational wing have been repainted. The hallways behind the main office were done. 3 office spaces, 6 classrooms, and multiple short hallways. An overhead door was replaced in the welding shop. Concession stand floors out at the athletic field were stripped of the old vinyl and epoxied with a new finish. A week ago or so, we just put in 5 sets of flags on the light poles, which kind of dresses the parking lot up. So a total of 10. We had some rusted piping and new relief valves put in the large domestic hot water tanks at the high school. New underground gas piping and new meter system was added to the high school. Logo green pads in front of the A diamond dugouts were added. New remote controllers for all softball scoreboards was added, so anybody attending those games or coaches can run those scoreboards with a smart device, which has helped us a lot with controlling where our controllers go. They can do it on their phone. 100 feet of counter space was added in multiple areas at the high school this summer for kind of some flex areas or extra learning areas. We are currently replacing a section of fence at the high school. Just got that tore out yesterday, and Bulgis will be putting that in tomorrow. Addition of bleachers coming soon under the gymnasium concession stand. They've been ordered for a while and just waiting for them to get them here. Irrigation has just recently been added to the softball varsity field. We met with them today and it is up and running. A few adjustments to make, but should be ready for next year's play. 2 large heating pumps and multiple isolation valves are replaced in the boiler room at the high school. We added padding in the aisleways at the main gym at the high school so kids can't climb that when the systems are up. We had an unexpected well pump repair at the athletic fields for irrigation. We have an unexpected repair to irrigation lines at the athletic field, and that's coming yet, Jessica, to your desk. Then we moved to the elementary. We had 3 large pumps and multiple isolation valves also replaced in the boiler room. We're trying to update pumps so many as a summer to get ahead of things on that flows all the heat through our buildings in the wintertime, so we're trying to update those. Main entrance sign was replaced here at this building. If you look out to the north by the playground, parking lot repairs were made. A lot of bad spot repairs were made at this building, with a few major ones yet that we have to repair, but with costs, that's how it came in. The west entrance canopy area, ceiling was sandblasted and repainted. We replaced a couple entry doors, door 15 and 16 on the west side with complete new structures, which added more glass to those units, which makes it look more modern and also brings in a lot of natural sunlight. 4 classrooms were painted here, partial business office, and smaller office area was painted here at this building. Multiple glycol leaks were repaired in this building on the heating side. Multiple control valves were replaced on the heating side. A new large commercial dishwasher was installed in the kitchen. New serving counter was added in the kitchen. And also at this building, we added new underground gas piping and new meter system feeding this building. And then elevator on the north academic wing that we've been talking about for our referendum. We did have a control board that went bad on it this summer, and we need it up and running for the school year, which is unfortunate, but that cost was doable. It wasn't over the top, so we added that. They had a tough time finding one, but they did find one. So questions on any of that?
I'll just add while we have you here, and you mentioned the referendum, because one of the questions that we get is, you know, doesn't the school district plan for some of these things? And while we do have, you know, when you mention LTFM, for those that are viewing in, stands for long-term facilities maintenance, there is some associated state aid that helps us with that. However, many of the project needs exceed the revenue that we receive from the state of Minnesota. So while Tyler and his team, his maintenance team, the building custodial teams do a phenomenal job, you know, as he mentioned, trying to stay ahead of things before they get into a state of disrepair. There are still some projects that are difficult to remedy without additional support from the public in those considerations. So that is a question I know I've received regarding, you know, how we finance projects in different areas. And so I just, while we're here, I wanted to comment on that. And when you mentioned smaller projects this summer, I'm going to segue into, can you elaborate on a couple bigger projects that will be
Towards the bottom of your page.
See,
So
I
I'm
didn't-
coming to it.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
But I will add to that, like,
Yeah.
since I've been in this director role, I've seen costs rise tremendously in everything, whether it's parts, people doing the work. As you guys know, in your homes, it has doubled, sometimes tripled. Roofing in the commercial industry has almost tripled since when I started in 2016 in this role. So when you have an LTFM project, we cannot cover as much roof as we typically could before. We could cover bigger sections with our long-term facility money amount. So I just wanted to add that in. Any other questions on that part?
When it comes to those banners on the light poles out at the high school, are there more on the way, or that just?
We are doing a trial period to see how the winds do this winter with those, and our plan is to add more, yes.
Because I know we looked at a bunch of different designs, and it's like the only thing I don't like about it is that there's not more of them. They look really good.
Yeah. We kind of trial and error basis on these to see how they hold up with the high winds we typically get through here. So,
See how they've sun fade and all that good stuff.
Yep. Any other questions? Then quickly, I can just move through these real quick. Tree project update. As you know, we've got ash borer moving through the area, starting to get pretty rapid in our district. We are trying just to replace as we need to right now, just because we do have some that look pretty good yet, but once they start turning, they turn pretty quick. We have 105 ash trees that need to come out. We have removed around 45 to 50 currently. Well, with what we're going to remove this summer, we've got some, if you notice, some marked along here. They're coming, these bigger ones unfortunately got to come out. So we have replanted close to 70 to 75 trees back in, so we are putting more back in than we're taking out for sure, but we're spreading them out better and no, we are not putting all ash trees back. We're putting a multiple variety of trees. So if this happens again, that we're not losing 105 trees at one time. So school buildings, every space in our buildings is clean top to bottom from floor to ceiling, and every floor gets scrubbed and refinished in our buildings in the summer. Every year all our gym spaces are scrubbed and recoated with the high school main gym getting an extra coat this year. And my maintenance have a list of tasks every summer, which I used to share with you, but I won't bore you with those. And they try to tackle those and get them completed. Every univent and air handler in the system gets serviced and new filters changed. This happens twice a year, so about 6 months from now or 5 months from now, we'll do that all over again. So just so you're aware that that's always getting done. Boilers get tore down with the tubes punched and boilers inspected every year. He's scheduled to come and inspect here once we fire them back up. Fun fact, in a week we mow on average 84 acres in the district. This includes some areas that get mowed twice with irrigated areas, and with this summer being so wet, that's all we seem to be doing this summer was mowing. But kind of a fun fact, when I went on Beacon and quickly just zoned things out for grass areas. Coming this next summer is a tennis court near you. A long-awaited tennis court resurface project is in the works for this next upcoming summer. ISG has already been on site to do some site work here a couple weeks ago, and this is long overdue, as a lot of you know. We've talked about it on operations for quite some time, and some other possible projects, some more crack repairs in the parking lots. We've got some damage to the track on the starting area, which happens from the starting blocks that I'm currently getting pricing on, and multiple HVAC upgrades. So the tennis court project will take up majority of our LTFM for next summer. Questions on that?
I just also like to add, while most of these projects that you mentioned are long-term facilities maintenance, some of them were made possible by donations from a variety of sources. Like some of the areas, just the pads on the dugouts at the varsity baseball field was a multifaceted donation approach with the school district taking care of the balance of that. The bleachers for the concession stand, those are associated with our local business partnerships. And then the irrigation at the softball varsity field, the district did pay for a portion of that, but our partnership agreements with the businesses at the softball field helped pay for that scoreboard when that went up a while ago, as well as the remaining balance going to the irrigation. So we are also, grateful for our local businesses that help support our students in their activities as well.
And one other item, I always get back after I do this, and there's always a few I forget, but the Football Association is donating 2 smaller scoreboards that we're supposed to be getting in here soon at the high school, and then 2 here at the elementary. So yes, there is a lot of donations and helps out a lot.
I stopped by the shop to see Tyler and the guys a couple weeks ago, unannounced, unprompted, just a spot check. And how much stuff they have in that garage is impressive. And I was embarrassed for the condition of my own garage and how disorganized and unkept it is. But you and your team really, you could justify a facility space twice that size for how much stuff you're doing and things you got going on. So I know I expressed it to you when I was there, but to you and your team, I really appreciate, how serious they take the job, how serious they take the work they do, and I know I really appreciate that the board appreciates that, and you can just see in the way they keep the shop, the way that I mean, I don't think there was one blade of grass out of place in the high school football field the last 2 football games. And as everything's clean as they're back to school, it's just really, really impressive. You guys work really hard, and I want you guys to know that we really appreciate that.
I tell all my staff they really make me look good, and they do.
Well, that's definitely true.
They really do. I am so thankful for the staff I have, and they all will go the extra mile and do the extra thing. So I appreciate them so much, and I appreciate you guys giving me the equipment also. Like Mike just said, we have some nice equipment, but it also saves time and money on our end. We've got a big wing mower, if you've seen that go around. That saves us tremendous amount of time. When you're mowing 80 some acres, it's well worth it to. And we've got skid loader that we save money on with different projects like these scoreboards we're putting up. We'll do all the work with putting the beams in, concreting them in. You know, we've got the skid loader to dig the holes. We appreciate that, and I know it's not every district has that. So
You keep everything so clean. Just well maintained too. Like the skid steer, the front end loader, all looks brand new still, and I know you guys are using it all the time.
yeah. So thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to our superintendent's report and calendar.
I'll make this brief. Tyler gave a great update there. Our enrollment report, there's some preliminary numbers in your packet. Those are not official as the state of Minnesota hasn't done their first draw yet. That'll be coming next month. Some referendum updates. We're continuing to plan for presence at upcoming school activities. We did a informational radio spot last Friday evening. I've had one community presentation today, as well as an interview with KUIC TV out of Mankato regarding the referendum. And at this Friday's event, looking to provide some informational material to attendees there. Also, just a reminder that if anyone does have any questions about the referendum, please contact the district office or refer to the website fairmontbond.com. We continue to work on contract renewals, making progress there with several groups in the district. And then just earlier today, Principal Brusky and I at the junior senior high school met with Martin County Economic Development. And on the horizon, we have another news release project that we're working on with Fairmont Economic Development Authority to continue to build partnerships for workforce development locally. So excited about the things that are going on for our kids in the district and the ability to collaborate with others in our community and in our county to continue to add resources for our kids. So that's the extent of my report, and our next board meeting will be here in 2 weeks on September 23rd.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Tradow? All right, we will move on to our financial business, financial reports and bills. Jessica?
Yes, so you have in front of you the wire transfers from August 21st to September 3rd, and then the bills for September 9th. Does anybody have any specific questions on anything? Most of it is business as usual. Wires and transfers are our normal, ordinary payroll and other ACHs. So
You looking for a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the wire transfers for August 21st through September 3rd, 2025, and the September 9th, 2025 bills.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no old business, so we will proceed with new business. Superintendent Tradow?
Yeah, so as part of our bond referendum, we submit information to the Minnesota Department of Education for review and comment. So a summary of the proposed projects to be funded is provided along with some general information in your appendices from the Commissioner's review and comment, the letter and associated information from MDE's review will be published in the Fairmont Sentinel, as we've indicated, as the school district's official newspaper. As you look at that item in Appendix A, you can see the general descriptions there and signed by Commissioner Jett on the back side of that. Most of this is familiar information. And Jessica, I believe this has been published, correct? Or it will be soon? Yep. Okay. So that was published in our local newspaper. So with that, are there any questions regarding the commissioner's comments or review?
Okay.
Are there any members of the public in attendance that have questions on the review and comment? I will say the reason I was somewhat confident that it had been published is I did receive one question related to the definition of circulation areas here and what that meant and what it was accounted for, you know, passing areas, wall structures, empty space between the walls for wiring, and, you know, all the things that go into building construction. So that definition, there was a constituent that reached out to seek out clarification on that definition.
All right, thank you.
You're not required to do any action on that,
Right.
are we?
No.
Okay. Now we'll turn our time over to Shelby from Ehlers. She's going to provide us with a pre-sale report on our general obligations facilities maintenance bonds.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm Shelby McQuay. I'm with Allers, and with your financial advisor is Allers. And Beth and I are working with the district both on preparing all the documents for the review, financial documents for the review and comment. But this in particular that we'll speak to is the LTFM bond that the district plans to issue to go ahead and get started on some of that LTFM projects ahead of the election, or as part of those, if should the election pass. So the pre-sale report is really just the next step towards the issuance. So we, as part of the project planning, put together the bond amount that would get to the project cost, and now we're a little bit before the sale, and we're sort of refining our estimates at this time. And so we're anticipating issuing $17.815 million. Our updated interest rate assumption is 4.65 based on where the market is, with a little bit of cushion built in. So right now the markets are building in that proposed reduction that the feds are bringing. So
They're reflected in prior to it even happening.
sorry.
It's reflected in here even though it hasn't happened yet.
Correct, the market has essentially built that in, so
Right.
it's sort of where that goes relative to what the markets already have. I think the majority of the market does believe that is gonna happen, so that's why they built it in ahead of time. So the pre-sale report just really lays out your responsibilities as a tax exempt issuer. The purpose of those bonds, the board authority granted to you by the legislature to issue those bonds, just by board then an additional increase that they would be eligible to vote on. So with two components, just the indoor air quality and the roofing to total that $17.815 million. With the deposit to the construction fund, we have two debt service schedules included to represent those two portions, the roof and the indoor air quality. And then you can see the debt schedule incorporated on the last two pages of the pre-sale report, just overall in your existing debt.
Thank you. Overall, and you're wrapped with your existing debt. And then what you're probably familiar with seeing, of course, is the schedules as part of the review and comment that would layer that voter-approved debt on top of that. So, so the $1.4 million levy for this portion of the project will be and should be in your 40-page levy document. It's not accurately reflected yet. For the most part, MDE shows all the LTFM plans as still pending. So they'll be updating those as we go and correcting all. But you have the approval to issue the bonds from MDE. That was one of the steps as well. So like I said, next, this is just informational tonight. 4.65% is what we're estimating right now. And then that was, our initial assumptions were about 5%. So hopefully we'll keep ticking down and carrying some of that market downwardness as part of this issuance. I can answer any other questions. Otherwise, anything as part of the referendum as well, we can always be a resource.
And just so you as board members know, when I am doing these community presentations or when I'm having conversations, I am indicating the difference between the voter approved and what was approved by the board for the health and safety component of things.
Yep.
And Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong, but in a couple weeks we have the MDE levy seminar that.
Yes, so there was, I actually listened to one today that MASBO put on for the levy, which was like went from 12:30 to 3. It was very detailed as much as it could be. But yes, and there's another one that South Central Service Cooperative will put on with Kathy Erickson from MDE.
Correct.
I believe at the end of the month, so.
All right, thank you. If there's no other questions?
Are we finding a pretty competitive environment as far as the number of organizations that are bidding on these? Are we getting a good representation of different groups that are there a lot of people interested in buying these bonds?
Yeah, so there's several underwriters. Most of the national underwriters will bid on Minnesota school debt. So for the purposes of what it's being used for, that's not a huge factor, I would say. Minnesota debt, when they're looking at investing in securities, they're looking at the quality of the underlying rating really itself. Okay. And it's sort of our job as advisors to make sure that you're not, for instance, taking the full 30-year maturity schedule for maybe a useful life that's something that's shorter than that, right? So that's sort of the minimum kind of qualifications they would put with the project itself. But Minnesota debt in and of itself, secured by property taxes, you're required to levy at 105% of the payment. There's a reliable revenue source coming in from those property taxes. So nationally underwriters do look to bid on Minnesota school district debt. Plus you have that credit enhancement program that brings you the state credit rating.
Okay.
So that said, we generally see and you can see in sort of the structure of the maturities, we like to keep those in the multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't generally get those better bids on those larger block sizes. Mm-hmm. And so generally we'd see probably 6 to 10 competitive bids on those.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a 13, 15-year payback. Obviously, it's things are going to last longer than that. Mm-hmm. Is this just kind of a payback schedule that both is informed by our debt service loads and things that are retiring, but is it also constructed to be desirable in the marketplace for this type of project? Is that what you're saying?
It's all of the above, right? When we want to keep you as a board, right? If you were going out for debt, maybe you would want to pay it off sort of immediately, but you have to balance that with tolerance for people to raise taxes and also the useful life of the project, right? When somebody enters the building in 10 years, they'll still be using these systems. And so we structured it so that, you know, there's not for instance, a $50,000 maturity that might be a little bit harder to sell. These are larger block sizes that are,
And then we're also
make it
not
more
binding
advantageous.
a future school board 20 years from now with 10 years left of a 30-year debt service. I mean, that's not what you're advising. You would advise us not to do that, but we're also not wanting to do that. Like, it gives, these things will have a useful shelf life long beyond when they're done being paid for.
Correct. And the other mechanism in here is the you have a refinance or a call structure in here that's about 10 years out, 8 to 10 years out, so that if a board wanted to restructure at that time or pay it off or defease it, they could do so. There's limitations a little in how Minnesota allows you to access the levy to do that, but you have some flexibility within that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are going to move on to personnel. We have a resignation.
We have an adjustment that we need to make here in personnel. Eric Walker, technology specialist, has submitted a letter of resignation effective August 22nd, 2025. Eric had performed as the technology specialist since June 30th of 2016. I make a motion to accept that resignation.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion by Dan, second by Mari. Any discussion?
Can we make this passing contingent on the next agenda item also passing?
Probably gonna happen.
It's probably going to happen.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is that Principals Brusky and Schultz are recommending that Eric Walker, high school English teacher, contract be increased from .125 to 1.0, effective August 25th, 2025. I make that motion.
Second.
All right, motion by myself, second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Welcome back, Eric.
All right. Board committee reports, operations committee, Mike.
We met last week, maybe?
The third.
Last Wednesday.
Yeah, we're meeting again next week too. We went over, the ICS guys, the people that are doing all the work that we just heard Ehlers talk about, were here to go over schedule, both for the referendum question, but also for the things that are already moving forward. We did a little kind of mini tour of the areas. We hear a lot about air interchangers and dehumidifiers, and it was kind of nice to walk around and look at them. To kind of like, you see all these reports, and then you walk down the hall and you see what what's being replaced and fixed finally, and it makes you feel pretty good about it. So we've walked through those next steps. We're probably going to create a working group or a subcommittee of operations to dive into some partners in education funding things that were kind of uncovered, and with our auditor, to make our auditor happy. So there'll be more information to come about that. We got a new trash hauler. You're going to see the green containers go away, and brown ones, I assume they're brown, for hometown sanitation is going to be our new provider. The bids, a lot of the decisions we make at operations or recommendations are feedback we give are very simple because it's so obvious what should be done, and this is one of those situations. Tyler went over a lot of the stuff that we talked about. He was at our meeting as well, and I think that was the highlights. If anybody's got any questions, let Nicole or I, or preferably Andy, know, and then he will answer them for you.
All right. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.